life can hit like a sledgehammer. But guess what? We hit back harder. Welcome to Affirm That Sh. Somehow I thrived. I'm Jennifer Rogers, your no BS guide to turning life's toughest moments into badass victories. Ready to flip the script? Let's affirm that life can be a bitch, but somehow we thrive. Welcome to this episode of Affirm That Shit. Somehow I thrived. I'm your host, Jennifer Rogers, and today is a special session, a special talk, a special gathering. What makes it special? Because today we're talking about scars, whether they're physical, emotional, they're hidden, they're in view. What do scars mean? What do they mean to you? What do they mean to me? So to kick things off, I want to ask you, if your scars could speak, what would they say? And I want you to take just a moment to think about that. What scar comes to mind? Do you remember how you got it? Do you remember how old you were? Was it while you were doing something fun, riding your bike, fell off and scraped your knee? But man, what a story to tell because you made that jump, right? You've got a scar on your elbow. You and your brother were fighting, and man, you landed that elbow hook just right. But what about the scars that don't have those wonderful memories tied to them? What about the scars that we've tried to bury deep inside? Do they surface? Are they visible? And are we really hiding them as best as we think we are? So today, again, I ask you, if your scars could speak, what would they say? Maybe, just maybe, they'd whisper the truth that we sometimes forget. That you and I have survived everything that has tried to break us. Our body, our heart, our spirit, it all carries stories inside of us. It also carries our resilience, our rebirth, and who we're becoming. Because our scars are not signs of weakness. It's a language that our soul has developed and carved onto our skin, into the cells of our body, into our memories. And those languages, those stories, remind us to rise up and to use our voice every time. Even in the days that you think you can't, rise up. If your scars could speak, I have a feeling I know what they might say to you. They would say, look what you've walked through. Look at what you carried. And look who you've become, despite all that you've been through. Because your scars, they're proof of pain. They're proof of your transformation, and they're proof of your purpose. Proof that after all this time, you kept choosing yourself, even in those times that it was hard to breathe, even when no one else knew the heaviness of the weights you were carrying. And I've thought about, what does scar mean? And if you've been around Affirm That Shit for any amount of time, you know that I love affirmations and acronyms. Because going through that shit, somehow you thrived. And that's the same with the scar. In those moments of healing, that scar is all that you are silently carrying and all that remained. You're holding on to that pain. You're holding on to those memories. You're holding on to the weight of what happened. What happens when you let go? What happens when you finally drop your shoulders, close your eyes, and take that deep breath in? What happens when you can grieve the old and welcome the new? And have you done that? Or are you still carrying everything that is so heavy? Because if your scars could speak, they would talk to you about grief. And not the kind when you're mourning someone else. The kind that needs to mourn the old you. That old version that needs to let go and be free. They would honor you. And they would say, I remember who you were. I remember what you held, what you believed, and what you tolerated just to survive. Your scars bear witness to every version of you. The version of yourself where you had to shrink, to stay small, to choose peace just to be safe, to choose quiet, to choose to be loved. And they watched you sit in that quiet. They watched you carry that guilt and that shame. And they watched you fight through endurance, thinking that it was worthiness. And it's time that you honor that old version of you. Because your scars are saying to you today, it's time. And it's okay. It's time to let it go. And when you grieve, it doesn't mean that you fail. You didn't fail your old self. You showed up the way you needed to at that time. But you've outgrown those places. And now it's time that you evolve in ways that your old self could not. Your scars are reminders that healing is a release. Scars are our truth tellers. We'll never forget. They'll always be there. But they're also a bridge of where we were to where we are and where we are going. And who are you going to choose to walk into? And your bridge may be shorter or longer than mine. It may be unstable. Hell, it may be a ladder that you have to climb. But when you put that work in and you put one step forward, you're honoring yourself. And as you continue to move forward, your scars, my scars, the way they speak to us changes. They tell us we no longer have to carry that pain. We no longer have to live in old fears, that old guilt, that old shame. And we no longer live in that old body that we were trapped in, those old memories, those old thoughts, those old feelings. Your scars would tell you to grieve, to honor yourself, to heal yourself, because you today are the best version of you because of those scars and who you're becoming. And once you are on that healing journey, that scar definition changes. Out comes strength carved amid all your resurrections. Proof of your growth. Proof of you rising and empowering yourself. Proof that you are no longer held back from what happened, but you are free to be you. And with that, I want you to know one of the things that I say to myself, and I encourage you to say to yourself, you are pure magic. Everything you touch, everyone who's blessed by your presence, you are a magical human being. And those scars are nothing but stories. Now I invite you to go out and to affirm that shit, because you have survived and you have thrived. If you're not already, like and subscribe, and come back and share with us the stories of what your scars would say to you.
You just took another step towards owning your story and thriving against all odds. This is Affirm That Shit. Somehow I thrived. If you're ready to keep kicking ass, subscribe now and let's keep breaking barriers together. Remember, life's a battle, but somehow you'll thrive.